Introduction. Are you happy with everything going on in your life right now? Chances are, if you are taking this training, you are looking for some sort of improvement. Maybe you're looking for some breakthrough in your relationship because for whatever reason, you and your partner have hit an impasse. Maybe you're stuck in a job you hate. Maybe you feel that you are not in the best physical shape you're otherwise capable of achieving. Make no mistake, pain is part of the human experience. There's no such thing as a perfect life. There's no such thing as a life that involves just an unlimited number of rainbows and smiles and lollipops. We live, and believe me, there is always room for improvement. At the very least, most of us are living far below our potential. We know we are capable of so much more. We know that we have the raw ingredients for great success and accomplishment in this life. Still, for whatever reason, often self-inflicted, we fail to live up to our fullest potential. So too many of us live lives of guilt, regret, remorse, anger, resentment, and blame-finding. Please understand that if you want to achieve better things in your life, the only person that can truly hold you back spells his or her name this way: Y-O-U. That's right. You're the person holding yourself back. If you don't believe me, look at the biographies of great people who have accomplished so much. A lot of them went through adversity. A lot of them had a long line of people telling them that they are too stupid, too poor, too backwards, too ugly, and gave them a million other reasons why they could not succeed. Yet, they are up there, and you're down here. You must understand that it's not where you come from that defines you. It's not your painful childhood trauma, or childhood poverty, or lack of advantages that hold you back. Many people have overcome bone-grinding poverty to die billionaires. A lot of people ended up with great careers, although they faced discouragement their whole life. So, it's not your circumstances that define you. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it is not circumstances that make the man. They simply reveal him to himself. You must understand that everything that's going on around you is an opportunity. You may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to jail soon. Is that an opportunity? My girlfriend just broke up with me. Where's the opportunity there? I'm stuck in a job that sucks, and my boss is an ogre. I don't see any opportunities. Well, the only opportunity that is always present at any time of your life is the opportunity to overcome. Because what you consider a trial, an ordeal, or a hassle, somebody else can see as a tremendous blessing. It all depends on perspective. Because when you change your perspective, you change your character. Unfortunately, too many of us expect the world to be fair. We expect a smooth ride. We expect things to be handed to us. We believe that success is our birthright. We only have to start, and before we know it, sooner or later, we will get to our destination. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. And to add insult to injury, when we are given this education, we become resentful. We blame other people. We think that life is just a big joke. It doesn't have to be that way, and it all begins with your subconscious mind. Please understand that your conscious mind is just part of the equation of your personal reality. If you keep discounting, ignoring, or overlooking your subconscious mind, you're going to perform far below your fullest potential. Sure, you may be able to achieve many things, but can you imagine how much more you could have produced with your life if you had tapped into the power of your subconscious mind? I'm not necessarily talking about money, although many people achieve that. I'm talking about just personal happiness and contentment, and the certainty that you lived a life worth living. Sadly, most of us fail to do this because we put so much stress on our conscious mind that we wear ourselves out. It's like trying to participate in a bicycle race with a bike that has only one functioning wheel. You neglected the other wheel. You're not going to get far. This training teaches you the power of the subconscious mind and how you can use it to your advantage. Learn to control your subconscious mind. What follows is a quick overview of the next 5 videos. These steps help you tap the power of your subconscious mind to turbocharge your conscious mind. To tap the power of your subconscious mind, you must first stop denying it. Stop chalking things up to chance. It may seem that life is happening around you on a purely random basis. It's as if there's no rhyme or reason to the things happening around you. That's only what it looks like on the surface. The truth is, it's very easy to think that you're just lucky. Look at whatever has gone right, and it's very easy to walk away with the conclusion that you were just at the right place at the right time, doing the right things, and suddenly all these right outcomes materialized. The truth is the complete opposite. Have you ever noticed that certain people seem to be at the right place at the right time, doing the right things? It's as if it happens again and again to them. It turns out that there's a lot more planning and design going on than we care to realize. Being at the right place and at the right time, doing the right things with the right people, takes a lot more purpose and premeditation than you think. When you learn to tap your subconscious mind to serve your conscious mind, serendipity happens more often. How come? You're simply prepared for it. Test out your subconscious mind as much as you can. You need to go from fearing your subconscious to actively collaborating with it. If you are feeling stuck in any area of your life, or you are frustrated with any kind of decisions you made in the past, you need to recruit your subconscious mind. It turns out it's not the boogeyman hiding under your bed threatening and scaring you. Instead, it's the golden key that can help you unlock a life full of possibility and achievement. Every single second is an opportunity to consult with and test your subconscious mind. Allow your subconscious mind to act as your personal compass. When you use a compass, oftentimes you're going into uncharted territory. You are venturing to a place you haven't been to before. When you learn to trust your subconscious mind, you allow it to become your compass. It points you in the right direction. Paired with your memory, you can allow work with your subconscious mind to draw up a map. It points you in the right direction, then you reference that direction with the things that you have observed and experienced in the past, and you connect the dots. This is how you create a map. You haven't been there before. You haven't achieved certain things before, but it doesn't matter. Thanks to your subconscious mind and your willingness to trust your intuition, as well as your clear, focused memory, you now have a map. Take ownership of this map, and you'd be surprised where you end up. Do a subconscious mind self-audit. When you do a mind self-audit, you'll be surprised at what you will find out. You'll be surprised at just how powerful your mind turns out to be. You would also be surprised at how versatile, flexible, persevering, and tenacious you can be. However, none of this is possible until you are willing to peel off the curtains of your subconscious mind and look deep within. It's definitely going to be scary because most people do not dare to venture into that territory. However, just like with any great discovery, fear often gives way to excitement and, ultimately, victory and pride. Just because it's hidden doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Your subconscious mind is all too real. If you are in any way unhappy with your life, a lot of it is because you have relied too much on your conscious mind. You have left dormant your most powerful possession, your full mind. Your full mind, of course, is made up of both your conscious and subconscious mind. Whatever it is that you've achieved, whatever it is that you're proud of, whatever it is that people pat you on the back for, you know deep down inside you could be doing more, and you could have gone farther. But unfortunately, you relied only on your conscious mind. In fact, if you're like most people, you feel that's the only thing you can do. Stop using your subconscious mind as a Ferrari doorstop. How ridiculous is the idea of a Ferrari doorstop? Can you imagine spending more than $400,000 on a car only to use it as a doorstop or paperweight? Sounds crazy, right? Too stupid to be true. Well, that's how most people deal with their subconscious mind. They're scared of it. They don't exactly know what it is, so they shut it aside and then just focus on their conscious mind. And guess what happens? They don't thrive as well as they would if all cylinders of their minds are working. This requires the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will hold you back if you don't deploy it. Your intuition, as powerful as it is, can always work against you. You can develop negative instincts. Have you ever noticed that a lot of successful people who otherwise dominate their field of expertise and are at the top of their game often sabotage themselves? This is because they did not let their subconscious in on their plans. So, what happens is your subconscious mind fuels your negative instincts. Please understand that for everything that you work for, there is always an opposite force. Unfortunately, if you don't master your subconscious mind, you will always end up on the other end. Let's put it this way. If you're working towards a goal, what naturally happens in your mind? You're all pumped up and excited about your goal. You're making all these plans. You're putting in the work. Everything looks good. But at the other side of your consciousness is the path that's doubting. The other part is saying that it can't be done. The other part that is saying that you don't have it in you. Guess what happens to your subconscious mind? Where do you think its raw power goes to? Similarly, if you are married, or you are the pillar of society, you must put up appearances. But there are inner drives in you, like maybe an addiction to porn, an addiction to sex out of marriage, or some other addiction. Guess which part of you fuels that? That's right, your subconscious mind. How come? You did not take full ownership of it. The more you ignore your subconscious, the more mysterious it appears. Think of your subconscious as a physical place that you consciously avoid. The more you refuse to explore something, the more mysterious it becomes. You make all sorts of weird guesses as to what's going on, and oftentimes, these guesses are informed by your fears and amplified by your ignorance. The more you refuse to even acknowledge your subconscious, or you go from thinking that it's off limits to thinking that it's just some place that you would never go to in a million years, eventually, you start to forget about it. Your mind is trained to not even think about it. What happens? Eventually, it would seem like it doesn't even exist. The sad reality behind all of this, of course, is the fact that you continue to live with its consequences. Its impact on your life is never going to go away. It's there regardless of whether you choose to see it or not. It's like that proverbial 800-pound elephant in the middle of the room. You can contort your body. You can play music, talk to your friends, and eat, but there's an 800-pound elephant in the room. The fact that you have become blind to it doesn't make it magically disappear. It's still there. The worst part is you're contorting your body. You're smelling its dung. You are living in cramped quarters. You're even feeling the heat. However, despite all these, you refuse to see it. You live with its consequences, and you could infer its existence distant from those consequences. But you choose not to. It remains hidden to you because of your choice. This leads to a sad situation. No wonder you're feeling stuck. No wonder your relationships suck. No wonder you're out of shape. No wonder you have low self-esteem. It is no mystery. There is an 800-pound elephant in the room, but you refuse to acknowledge it. That's how pathetic a life lived in willful ignorance of your subconscious faculties can be. The key to your subconscious mind is to stop fearing it. A lot of people think of their subconscious mind, if they think about it at all, as some sort of shadow. It's their worst instinct. It's not their better angle. They make up all sorts of names for it. What they're really doing is they are basically covering up for their fear. Most people fear the unknown. And the problem is with the subconscious mind, it will continue to be unknown unless and until you take ownership of it. In the following videos, I'm going to step you through how to make this happen. The conscious mind is limited. The conscious mind is limited by perception and experience. It works on a garbage in, garbage out principle. It's only as good as its input. If you want to maximize the power of your conscious mind, you need something else. You need the help of your subconscious mind. Using only your conscious mind means living in a psychic prison. When you focus on using your reason and emotion rooted in your conscious mind, you are limited by space, time, and circumstances. There's a whole other world out there. There are many layers to that world. Unfortunately, you're completely blind to it because you're focused only on what you can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell. You're bound by the limitations of your senses. The conscious mind is very easy to enslave. It's not unusual for great historical people to say and do things that we find repugnant today. How come? They are a product of their times. In other words, they were thinking consciously and rationally based on the world that they saw and interacted with during their historical period. Yet their lives had the seeds of greatness, and we still benefit from their work and their achievements. Still, their limitations are glaring. You also are just as limited because you rely on your conscious mind. We are very limited people because we are products of our specific circumstances. For example, we are products of our times. It really would be unfair for somebody from several hundred years from now to apply their standards of morality, culture, or whatever else to people living in our time. We are only responsible for what we know. Since we have a certain mindset and a shared set of ideas regarding how things should be in the here and now, we are limited by our times. This is still a limitation. We're also a product of our conditions. It really would be unfair for us to judge somebody who grew up in a certain environment to behave and have the values of somebody who did not grow up in that environment. Of course, this has limitations as well. There are certain common values that we expect of human beings regardless of their biography. But, by and large, it is perfectly understandable for people to be judged based on the conditions they found themselves in. It would be great if all of us could overcome our conditions and live up to the highest standards, but we're only human. Another limitation is that we are products of our culture. It's very easy to define culture as involving a certain type of dress and a certain cuisine. Those are superficial cultural differences. Cultural differences actually run deep. They impact how you view life, your general attitude, how you get along with others, and how you define the good life. Your culture also plays a big role in what your personal priorities and values are. We can debate all day long, and then some on the issue of whether all cultures are equal or have the same value or lead to the same place. With that debate aside, it is indisputable that culture does play a big role in how people turn out. Going even deeper, when you notice that most people have certain cultures, it's easy to see where that cultural membership draws its power from. When you're a member of a culture, you want to go along to get along. You want to be part of a crowd. You want to be accepted. There's a tremendous value in a sense of belonging. This puts tremendous pressure on people who grow up in their own culture to behave and think a certain way. The truth is, given all these limitations, instead of taking our minds to the next level and expanding it, these limitations shrink our minds. It restricts our sense of possibility. They work to shape, warp, and constrain our ability to become whoever we want, whenever we want, and to otherwise live life on our own terms. Just how limited is our conscious mind? We are limited by our training. Your parents programmed you. A lot of your personal destiny has been set in stone by the people who raised you. It doesn't matter whether you grew up in a traditional American nuclear family or a variation of it. Whoever took care of you played a major role in setting the course of your life. This is a limitation on your conscious mind, because your conscious mind can process many other courses. It can process many other maps, but it's stuck to the map that it first became aware of. Where's the power there? The conscious mind is bound by habit. It's human nature to stick with what we know. We know that there are better things out there. There are better paths. But we are already familiar with our path. We are already comfortable with our programming, so we stick with it. We know we are capable of so much more, but because of the sheer force of habit, we stay on the course. We remain stuck. The conscious mind is bound by reputation. Deep down inside, a lot of us live for other people's validation. This is why we hang on to our programming. We know that it's suboptimal. We know that we could do better. We know that there are other forms of programming out there that may take us to a much higher level, but we stick to our programming because we want the people around us to approve. They stick to pretty much the same programming. We're going to stick out like a sore thumb if we choose another path. So, because we want to go along to get along, we stick with the tried and proven. Sadly, a lot of the time, the collective mindset that we seek to preserve, as far as our conscious mind goes, does us a big disservice. We could be soaring high. We could be going so much better, but we stick to tradition, custom, and social expectations. The conscious mind is easily overruled by emotion. It is no surprise that a lot of shoppers in the United States buy product after product when they don't really need it. In fact, the vast majority of commercial decisions in the United States and elsewhere are actually impulsive by nature. The reason for this is our conscious mind is easily overridden by emotion. We let our emotions get the better of us. Instead of responding to situations based on our highest values or priorities, we let our emotions take over and we feel helpless against it. So, even though we know that we are going to be spending more money than we have, and we are going to regret it later on, we still go through with it. The conscious mind is powerful, but self-limited. Your conscious mind is your most powerful possession. Different people have different minds, and they have different lives. These differences all stand from the fact that they have different minds. Change your mind, and you will end up with a different outcome. It is not easy, nor is it smooth, but changing your mind is the first step to fundamental change. Your conscious mind impacts how you edit your personal reality. Believe it or not, every single human being on this planet edits his or her own reality. Every single second, the outside world bombards you with thousands of stimuli. Thanks to your programming, you choose to become aware of only a tiny fraction of that stimuli. Thanks to your programming, you choose to remember only a tiny fraction of the stimuli you chose to perceive. Your mindset then kicks in and interprets what you chose to remember, and this can trigger an emotional state which leads to your saying and doing things that other people will notice. That's how you change your reality, and it all begins with your conscious mind tied into the mindset that you have. Your life is the product of your mindset. It's very easy to think of mindset as some sort of optional operating device. It's very tempting to dismiss it as something that just plays in the background with no real effect on how your life turns out. The problem is this is so far from the truth that it's funny. Your life is the product of your mindset. The way you look, the way you talk, who you hang out with, your values, what you strive for, everything. That's how crucial your mindset is. Sadly, too many of us go about our day thinking that mindset doesn't really matter. In fact, a lot of us carry on with the thinking that somehow, some way, mindset is just one empty detail about us, not much different from having a favorite shirt color or preferring a certain haircut. That's too bad, because if you take ownership of your mindset, you would quickly realize that you chose your mindset. It's a choice. It's like choosing between the Apple operating system and the Windows operating system. We all pretty much have roughly the same type of hardware. We have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 head, 2 arms, you name it. However, the big difference between people is the mental software they choose to install. That is your mindset, and it is chosen. Going with this central and fundamental fact, nothing ultimately is an accident. It all begins with the mindset you chose. When you choose a certain mindset, you start viewing reality a different way. It may start out as a small difference, but it can lead to a completely different place. You make totally different decisions. You feel different emotions about different things. Sadly, too many people fail to realize this. They refuse to take ownership of this. Not surprisingly, their mindset often works against them instead of working for them. Instead of taking their lives to the next level and allowing them to live out their lives according to their fullest potential, they live small, defeated, and powerless lives. The worst part to all of this? They chose that existence. Your conscious mind is often enslaved by your mindset. Your conscious mind is very powerful. Think of it like a powerful machine on a factory floor. But your mindset is the software that you install on that machine. Keep this in mind because you can have the most powerful computer on the planet at your disposal and program it to play only video games. Wouldn't that be a waste? Well, guess what? People do it all the time. You have an awesome biochemical computing machine called your mind, and you fill it with junk. Your mindset chooses only to look at the negative, the limited, the depressing, the pathetic, and your reality is the outcome. Is that a good use of that powerful reality bending and editing machine? You decide. I think you know the answer. You often waste the power of your conscious mind. When was the last time you read a novel? When was the last time you analyzed a work of art? When was the last time you thought about your life and came up with deep insights that changed the way you look at certain things that happened in your past, or things that you normally worry about regarding the future? If you're like most people, the answer is once in a while or never. Those activities are part of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind would love to do those because those can help change your life. You can achieve tremendous breakthroughs. By reading novels, you can step into other people's lives. And by doing so, make sense of your own life because we're not all that different. A lot of the deep, personal, philosophical, psychological, and spiritual issues discussed in the great literature of history resonate to your life if you only choose to see it. The connection is there, but most people don't want to do that. They'd rather fill their minds with junk. Now I'm talking about Twitter, Facebook timeline, and believe me, Facebook can have a lot of vital information, but the problem is the way we use it. It's like we're filling our minds with intellectual and mental chewing gum. It's garbage in, garbage out. So you have this powerful machine called your conscious mind, and it's stuck in neutral. The more it processes, the more it overheats, and the more stuck you feel. You feel overwhelmed. You feel burnt out. Your conscious mind needs the help of your subconscious mind. If you want to achieve a breakthrough, you have to rediscover your subconscious mind. Everybody has a subconscious mind. It is one of the things that unite all humanity. The problem is most of us are unaware of it, and those who are aware of it often go out of the way to deny it. They're scared of it. They don't want to take responsibility over it, and they struggle. What is the subconscious mind? It is very easy to be aware of the conscious mind because we are aware of its operations. When we make judgment calls, when we make decisions, when we think about somebody, or we're thinking about what to say while we're dealing with other people, our subconscious mind is at work. By the same token, when we are reading something and we try to analyze what we just read, we can see our conscious mind at work. But the subconscious mind is harder to pin down. Here are some of its qualities. Your subconscious mind involves your collective, non-conscious memory. Remember earlier I said that every single second the outside world is bombarding you with thousands of stimuli? Remember that I said that you choose to perceive only a tiny fraction of that? And of that fraction you choose to remember only a smaller fraction? That is willful remembrance or willful memory. But there is a flip side to this. Your subconscious is also picking up stuff. And it's not bound by your conscious mind. It's not bound by its biases, rules, or habits. It's more random. It's like a screenshot. There may be fuzzy details, but it's still a screenshot. This can come in handy. It is no surprise that some people, when they find themselves in a certain situation, they remember certain details of what happened in the past, and this can lead them to a decision that is different from what they would have normally arrived at if they were to have relied only on their conscious mind. Your subconscious mind ties you to the rest of humanity. There is such a thing as a lizard brain. This is the part of your brain that first evolved. Please understand that the newest part of your brain is your cerebral cortex, the front part. This is the reasoning part. This is what people get all excited about because this is the seat of logic, reason, and judgment. This is where wisdom comes from. But for that part to evolve and mature, it must be supported by another part of your brain. This is the older part, the lizard brain. It's very easy to dismiss the lizard brain as backwards, antiquated, even barbaric and brutish. But believe me, if it didn't do its job, we wouldn't be thinking the way we do at a high level. Somebody's got to do the dirty work, right? The lizard brain has memories as well. It is instinctive, raw, unapologetic, basic. It might even be offensive to some people or too crude, but it does the job. It is up to you whether you're going to apologize for the things that you pick up with your lizard brain. People can talk a good game about the fine points of life, but the lizard brain would always want to sum up everything by going straight to the point. Does it involve money, food, sex, power, or what? Didn't I tell you it's going to be perceived as crude? But it's vital. Your subconscious mind gets to the point. It doesn't beat around the bush. Your subconscious mind overrides your emotions. Your subconscious mind can enable you to override your emotions because it understands where your emotions are coming from. It revels in irrationality because it is above and beyond your conscious mind's attempt at rationality. Despite all the chaos, all the confusion, and unnecessary drama, it establishes an order. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to see this. They'd rather fear it. They'd rather fear that there's a part of them that actually welcomes drama, chaos, tragedy. A few people would cop to feeling good when something bad happens to their friend. Remember, it's probably acceptable if something bad happens to your enemy, and you felt good about it. But what about your friend or your family member? There's that deep-rooted sentiment there, and that's your subconscious mind. This is called Schadenfreude. It's actually rooted in evolution. Think of it this way. If you were transported tens of thousands of years back in the age of the cavemen, and there was a bear chasing you and a buddy, your number one goal is to basically outrun your buddy. It's not to look out for your friend, because if you did that, your genes would die with you. What genes made it in that scenario? The guy who ran really fast and never turned back to see what happened to his buddy. I know, it's harsh, but this is the subconscious mind we're talking about. It is filled with all sorts of unpleasant realities, sentiments, and tendencies we are embarrassed about or would rather deny. Still, they are real. Your subconscious mind is the source of your intuition. Even if you haven't been somewhere before or you haven't been exposed to a situation before, has it ever happened to you that you know what to do at the right time with the right people to produce the right outcome? This is not just a simple case of being lucky. This is not just a simple case of recovering the memory of things you have done right in the past that somehow, some way related to what you were doing at that point in time. No, a lot of the times that is a hunch. A lot of the times that's intuition. And guess where that comes from? That's your subconscious mind. It's able to connect the dots at the right time to produce a result. Does it always work? Absolutely not. It works enough times for you to take notice. You should sit up and pay attention to it.